good, whatever time of the day it is you happen to be listening. This is the PNA Podcast Express Year in Review.
Year in Review.
The year 2021.
The year that was.
Is now pretty much gone. If you're listening to this, you have mere hours left to enjoy 2021 in all of its glory before it becomes 2022.
Before it's known as the past.
Yes.
Which good riddance.
Yeah, no shit. So
what a terrible year.
What a shit show.
Good year for the PNA Podcast Express if you like such things, though.
Nobody does, but
right?
It has been a good year for the podcast.
It's a very good year. We've hit some big milestones, some good numbers. Thank you to our listeners. But still, once again, spread the word. I mean, we still need and want this thing to take off because I don't want to have to cry on my drive home from work every day. And when we do the podcast, I definitely don't cry on my way home.
I do sometimes, but it's tears of joy.
Yes, tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
You can email the podcast at pna@hornygrapefruit.com or pineapplenipplearsehole@gmail.com or pnapodcastexpress@gmail.com.
That is another milestone we reached, a new domain. You know, we were just kind of collecting email addresses, but there were complaints that, it's hard to remember Pineapple Nipple Arsehole
or PNA Podcast Express.
Pretty simple to remember, PNA at
hornygrapefruit.com.
And coming to you soon, very soon, hornygrapefruit.com, the website will be available.
We're going to have a little bit of something for everyone. We're going to have some interactive notes. We're going to have things for your viewing pleasure. We're going to have some factoids. We're going to have some actoids. We're going to have some Dan Aykroyd trivia,
horny grapefruits.
And horny grapefruits, just pictures of grapefruits with holes in them.
Yes.
Hopefully people will send those to us. If you've plunged a hole into a grapefruit with your manhood, please send us a picture of the grapefruit, not your manhood.
Or your womanhood.
Or your womanhood. If your womanhood is decimated a grapefruit,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we want to know that. We want to see
These are things we need to know.
Who would have thought that my child would have been born simply to birth hornygrapefruit.com.
Right. Well, hopefully he hasn't peaked at this point, I guess, is what I was thinking about. I'm like, well, I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible.
That could be his opus right there.
Yeah. But, if you're going to peak, that's a good spot.
How is he feeling about those series of podcasts?
Pretty solid. Pretty solid. He goes back to school early, like a week early.
Okay.
And because he's got wrestling. And so he goes back to school a week early, and that's when he wants to unleash it on everybody. He has not hardly shared it out yet because he kind of wants to have a team listening party.
I love that so much.
And sharing the shame.
I love that so much. He's like, this is how it's going to go down.
And his poor mom, she listened to a small snippet of it. You know how she is. She doesn't listen to a lot of the podcast.
Right.
Because she's sensible.
Because she's sensible.
But she was kind of like, he goes to a Christian school.
He goes to a Christian school.
I'm like, past tense, Mary, did.
Did go to a Christian school.
Yes. So, But no, he enjoyed his time.
I can tell you what, at his said Christian school in the cafeteria, there's going to be a run on grapefruits.
Well, if they
haven't already,
he needs to start selling grapefruits
That's
himself.
Right.
That's what I think.
See, it's the damnedest thing. I went on a podcast and I told a story about a grapefruit, and then I started selling grapefruit, and that's how I made my way through college financially.
They call him the grapefruit millionaire.
So it could be a big, maybe. This is some brilliance by your son then, because this whole thing was set up for him to become rich.
Yes.
Via selling grapefruits. I think so too.
A little fruit stand that could is what I think.
What a setup. What a long con.
He's pretty sharp that way.
I think so. Sharp. But I'll allow it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've talked about that. I'm sure it'll come up again in tonight's episode. But 2021, what a shit show for everything outside of the podcast.
Do you want to know how the year started for the podcast?
Absolutely.
All right, our first episode this year of 2021 was episode number Lucky 13.
Nice.
Get this. It was January 5th. It was a full episode. The episode summary is A1, horse burgers and nothing else in particular. The contributors were, of course, Adam and I, Jonathan Bisher, JB, Rod Wood, and Abraham Lincoln and Elf.
Nice. Nice.
This episode is a gem. It's an hour and 4 minutes long. That's how the year started with that bad boy right there.
So remember when our episodes were only going to be like half hour to 45 minutes long?
Yeah.
And now we don't really set a limit or a time frame.
Constraints are tough sometimes. So think about this then. We are at episode 137, and we started the year at episode 113. So quickly doing some math, 124 episodes in a year. Now 125.
Yeah.
Somebody's been busy.
Yeah, this will actually air as the 138th episode of the year.
Of the podcast. But that'll be the 125th episode of the year.
Yes.
125 episodes in 1 year, folks.
That's not bad. That's giving you a lot of content.
And for those of you who have listened to all of them, thank you. Question mark.
And we're sorry.
Yeah, and we're sorry. We're so sorry.
All apologies.
Yes. What else could I say? All apologies.
So, started out at episode 13.
13, yes.
In January.
Yes.
We are ending the year at 138.
So,
and what an episode this is going to be. I mean, I'm just going to call it now. This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah, I feel like it really is. I mean, we're coming to you from the old Silver Tavern in Deckerville, the old STD. And I'm missing bowling tonight for it, which I've already been sent some angry text about it. But you know what happens. I can't.
It does. It does. And, where else would you rather be?
Here, definitely.
Yes.
Although I'm the straw that stirs the drinks for bowling teams. On Tuesday night, I didn't show up. Eddie was on his way back from Texas, and so JB said the hell with it. So no one on our team was there on Tuesday night.
Oh, geez.
Oh, man.
So did we win?
No, there's no possible way to win. Unless the other team decided to forfeit before you did.
Oh, well.
Then you get the W.
I should have went and just rolled everything granny style.
You should have just roll the ball a couple times and you're good to go.
I could have granny styled it.
Oh, man. So I'm looking at some of the past episodes here just by the cover art. So back on September 9th, we had Bobby Filet was one of the, for episode 91. This was a quick trip that was an hour and 5 minutes long. The episode summary is just, what? With 3 question marks.
Sounds legit.
Jason McConaughey was on that one, so that's...
Oh, well, that would answer that.
That answers all of the questions right there. The question was in the answer. Let's see some other ones that stick out. There's the frittata episode. That wasn't very long ago. So other things so we have Notorious B.I.G. as the cover art for June 22nd's episode, which is episode number 68, one before 69. The episode summary, very, very brilliant on this one. It just says, "We talk." And it's just Notorious B.I.G., myself, and you as the contributors.
I have a feeling that a lot of times our episode summaries directly proportion the length as to how much beer we have drank.
I think it's directly proportional.
That could be, too.
I think it very much is. We've got some pretty good shit. Like the year in review. This must have been J.R. Jupiter when he discussed the wheel. Episode 51 is a quick trip that's only 22 minutes long, and it's a report from J.R. Jupiter. There you go.
When about did the quick trip start?
The quick trip started, that's a great question. The very first quick trip, by my calculations, was actually late last year. Quick trip number 1, I believe, was in December of 2020. I'm just trying to suss my way through this. Sorry, I have an iPhone, so bear with me. There's Quick Trip 9. There's Quick Trip 4. There is...
I see Quick Trip 3,
number 1 was...
Okay.
Quick Trip number 1 was episode 7, which was back December 10th, which is also my daughter's birthday.
So we decided that just, 6 episodes in, that people didn't have enough of what we were bringing.
How cocky were we that we decided 6 episodes in, hey, let's bring it to twice a week?
we need to open another restaurant because people aren't getting enough of our shit.
Man, we just started filling ours halfway up. We need to open a second location.
Oh, boy, yeah.
We don't even have the menu set yet, but we're going to open a second location.
And now you kind of sit here and think, do we need to retire the Quick Trip since our last Quick Trip was longer than the actual first episode of the week?
Last Quick Trip...
it's really just become kind of a running joke.
Of 137 episodes, the last Quick Trip was longer than 120 of them.
Yeah, it was over 2 hours long. But it birthed some great stuff.
Oh yeah. A lot of stuff, good stuff was born out of that one.
So, we've discussed a little bit here. We'll get back to some of these episodes and some of these great milestones that we've had this year. But, we need to talk about some of the people
some of the guests. So an interesting item was brought up to me. They said, how many guests have you had? And initially I tossed out, I'm like, yeah, probably like 25. But then I thought about it. It's got to be upwards of like 60 or so.
I would say so.
Because even for like the 50th episode, when we did the 50th live extravaganza, we probably had 20 or 30 that night.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And then our 100th episode was not a whole lot different.
Right.
Maybe not as exciting.
And definitely didn't make me as horny as the 50th episode did.
No.
Jeez, I still got wood from that.
Yeah, well, how many grapefruits have you went through since then?
Dude, that's a good idea. I just start thinking about those ladies and get a grapefruit.
Absolutely. That's where you should be at with that. Everybody's got to wait while we
pour some beer here.
Yeah, reestablish our beer. There it is. That's a much better pour.
Establish our dominance here.
Yes. So, we've.
I wish some of those ladies that were on the 50th would get a hold of us, though.
I do too. I hope they listen.
Like, here's where
if you listen and you'd like to have a reunion episode,
right? Please, anytime, wear the same dress.
Yeah, or less.
Wear the same dress or less.
I like that. That's a good motto.
Wear the same dress or less.
So, we kind of went through that, and we had that whole thing. But man, we've had some really good episodes with some really good guests,
right?
And we would be nowhere if it wasn't for you and I. But those people have somewhat helped a little bit too.
I love that line so much. We would be nowhere if it weren't for us too. There would just be a Podcast Express.
Yes. And a Podcast Express.
It would just be a more aimless, rambling, ambling thing than it currently is.
It would be another way for people to waste time. Oh, wait.
No time is wasted when you're wasted all the time.
Exactly. But yeah, you got JB. We've had Ashley on. She's been a wonderful guest when she has decided to grace us with her presence.
I think Julie was our first guest. Julie Stoliker was our very first guest.
I believe she was.
Because if you remember right, she won the initial contest to give away the survival pack of beef jerky and toilet paper. Yes. And it also came with a guest appearance on the podcast. I believe JB was our second guest overall, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think we got JB to come on. And then we opened up the floodgates. Once we hit episode 50, I would like to say, I dare to say, before the live extravaganza, episode 50, episodes 1 through 49, we maybe had 4 or 5 guests.
Yeah.
Total. But after 50, it's just been the floodgates, man. We've had fucking...
Well, everybody wants a piece of it.
Everybody wants a piece of it.
Everybody wants a piece of it. So, interesting piece of trivia.
Go on.
If you look at our episode log,
yeah.
Do you know what is wrong with the first couple episodes?
Yeah, episode 2 is actually before episode 1 on the list.
That is correct. They both released the same day, and they both released at 10:32 p.m. But episode 1 actually came after episode 2.
So now we know the egg came before the chicken.
Yes.
Or is it the chicken came before the egg?
Or the shit came before the asshole? That might be more appropriate.
Wow. Yeah. There you go. Just wipe. Make sure you wipe very well.
Yes. And our first our first episode that featured something other than our logo on it,
Yeah.
episode 6 with Nicolas Cage.
Try and stop me.
So, as we were talking about guests here and stuff, we had Julie on as one of our first episodes. She was also one of our last episodes that we had this year.
Wow.
And,
that is true.
Full circle. We don't forget the people.
That's right.
That
you got to dance with the one you brung sometimes.
Exactly. But,
throughout the year, I mean, Julie's had a roller coaster of a year when it comes to the podcast. Got to be the very first guest. Had some episodes that she's not too proud of because, well, maybe alcohol was a factor.
There might be something unaired.
She inadvertently got called a fat whore on the podcast, and then she came full circle and joined us last week.
Yes.
So there we go.
For a glorious reunion.
That's right. A glorious glory hole reunion.
Yes. Perfectly said. I couldn't have said it better myself.
You're welcome.
But, and then, of course, we cannot forget the super fan.
Cookie!
Mr. Cookie.
Steve Cook knows what he's doing. He brings us food and gifts.
Yeah. And knowledge.
I know
he tells us things about things we don't know about.
Dude,
things.
I know. He's like, you guys in the podcast, one of the best bits was this. I'm like, that's not our bit. And he's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, holy shit, we said that?
Episode 72 at 3 minutes and 58 seconds. And he is like the podcast Rain Man.
He is. He's like in episode 47 at the 44 minute and 33 second mark. Phil farted rather loudly.
And, it's kind of funny for you and I, because we've discussed this before, that the podcast kind of blurs.
Right.
I honestly, by the time we get done with an episode, I'm already not thinking about what we're going to say on the next one. Yeah. But I'm not thinking about it.
No.
I've just moved on.
So here's the funny thing. We did a little test when we were fishing in the UP earlier this week. We listened to a few episodes. And Mike and I was even astounded by this. I could recall everything I had said and could recite it, almost like when you've watched a movie a bunch of times and remember the lines.
Yeah.
And I said, even though I don't remember the content, like I couldn't recall it off the top of my head, when you play it and the conversation flows, like I still knew exactly what I had said.
Same. I went back the other day, and I was literally looking for like sound quality things. Mm-hmm. So I went back through and I listened to some episodes where, like early on, and when we didn't have as much.
Of course,
equipment.
we went through just a regular board. Then we were going through the what's the brand?
Yeah, we know it is
Ballinger.
Yeah,
we went through a Ballinger board. We had they're really good for like sports and such, but we had what people call the helicopter pilots. They're the headsets. And I have really good headsets for doing football games, but for something like this setup definitely works a lot better for sound quality.
It definitely didn't sound bad compared to a lot of things we've heard.
Right.
But we've made a lot of improvements. So I was listening back through and just listening for the, all right, I want to see how this sounds.
Right.
And I was amazed by how much of what I remembered from episode 3, 4.
Even a year ago.
And I mean, we were lame. No, we really haven't changed at all. Our formula hasn't changed.
It really hasn't. I was kind of taken aback by that too. I'm like, well, I listened to episodes because I listened to some episodes in the teens, and then one in like the 40s, and then one in like the late, like just after 100, like 110 or something like that.
Yep. And
our sound quality has definitely gotten better. We're very true to our roots, though. I've noticed, like we do stray from the formula a little bit. I did get a good compliment today that we've been mixing it up a lot better lately, both in mixing it up and going places as well as having guests. And honestly, in the future forward, I'd like to continue with more guests, but I think we need to kind of have a rule where we only have a guest on for maybe no more than 2 straight episodes. I'm not counting, like, we consider Mike like the Glory Hole Cowboy. He's a regular. He's not a guest.
Right. And then there's Cookie as well. And I think it could go to like, okay, so if we do 3 episodes in a night.
Yeah, they could be on all of them, I suppose.
They could be on all of those.
But also, I was thinking this, and I mean, maybe this is putting the cart before the horse, and For me, I felt like I was getting stretched thin of material there in about the October, November time frame, honestly. But I had a lot of other things going on, a lot of other stress in life. I like guests because they bring a new perspective. They bring new material, new things we can talk about. But if you have the same guests, so I think we've done a nice job of mixing them up. Like right now, it's about time for us to have JB on again, perhaps.
Yeah, we need to get
some of his dumbassery on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And of course, Ashley's welcome anytime. We need her to keep us in check, and
we need her to come more often to help give us that level-headedness.
She's like our ombudsman almost.
Yes.
Yeah, she's so lame that she keeps us in check.
What an asshole.
I know. I'm sorry, Ashley. I didn't mean that. I'm fucking with you.
But yeah, one of the things that I really like going out on location.
Yes.
We get very comfortable in our home here.
So I do too, but you got to realize this is mostly me. This is honestly me. Adam always wants to go out, and I'm the one. I'm the holdup here, which is weird because everybody thinks I'm not really a big social butterfly. I stick to what I know. I'm comfortable here because for lack of a better term, I'm kind of a big fish in a small pond here because I work here, I bartend here, everybody knows me. We got to get out more though because it proved to do so well. Like our spots, like at Shady Shores or whatever they call it now, our spots at Blue Water have always been amazing.
Blue Water, and they really welcome us in. I mean, they're of course they're very welcoming here at the Silver Tavern.
Right.
This is home, but when we go out to the Blue Water, they kind of make it an event, and that's kind of what I look for. We've been to other places where it really hasn't felt like much of an event. Like it's just kind of.
We're not going to name it, but we've only been to one other bar besides those ones, so
right.
You can probably put it together.
Yeah, you can suss it out. I'll tell you what,
it's the same bar that one of the blank girls was bitching about.
But there's a certain amount of expansion we get out of that. When we look at our numbers and we look at the back end of things and we go, wow, what happened there? Oh, well, we went to here.
Right.
And that brought a whole different list.
And that's what it was doing. It was bringing us an infusion of new listeners, too.
And which is why we probably need to
in 2022, I know I need to do this. And I want the podcast to be successful. And in order to be successful in almost anything in life, no matter what it is, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
And see, for me, I'm pretty comfortable anywhere. I really don't give a rat's ass.
Well, and I think that's from a lot of your years, because here's where we differ. You've spent a lot of years doing bands and DJing and stuff like that. I've spent a lot of years sitting behind a computer, sitting behind a microphone, but at a radio station, or vice versa, or calling games from a press box. So,
when I was working at the radio station, I would get on there with Eddie in the morning. I had somebody ask me one time, "Aren't you really nervous? You don't sound like you're nervous talking at all."
I'm not, because you're talking to Eddie. You're just having a conversation with, like you and I. You're having a conversation with your good friend. You're just sitting here bullshitting.
Exactly. And to me, there's nothing that feels odd about that or feels unnatural about it.
And you know me, I get nervous when we go out to location or when we have our big events. I get nervous.
You're nervous in here sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just a Nelly.
I know. Which, by the way, Nelly, love you. Thanks for listening. She's been sending me a lot of good feedback. And she sent the trophy. She sent the trophy.
We've, yes. We've actually been getting...
Can we use that trophy? I sent you that picture, right? Can you use that as the clip for the cover art for this episode?
I should be able to, yes.
Okay. But anyway, we've been getting emails, potentially?
We've been getting some emails. Some, unbelievably flattering emails. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who these people are or why they think that they need to talk nice to us, but we got one here from Mr. Mike Day.
Oh, Disco.
And
what's happening, buddy?
Disco sends us a great podcast, Adam and Phil. I don't miss one. How about one of those stickers? And
shit, we got to get Disco a sticker.
Yes, we do. So we have sticker requests.
Wow.
And we've actually gotten a couple other ones. I kind of flooded our email by signing us up for a bunch of things.
I know, right?
Well,
thanks for, I want to say the newest thing is through all things, first of all, through God, all things are possible. Jot that down. But we've gotten some great porn subscriptions through the PNA Podcast Express now.
Yes. Most of them that they still want us to pay for. But
we're doing the free trials, so.
I mean, I don't need a lot. I can still get off to something when it's pixelated.
Yeah, me too. Is that a nipple? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that was his nipple? Oh, okay.
It's all good. That androgynous blob over there.
That's a sexy androgynous blob over there.
It looks blonde.
Oh my goodness, it looks skinny too.
So yeah, no, we've.
Any other emails? Read some other ones.
Well,
we got 'em.
I literally did. We did get a couple other ones, but I literally did by signing us up with.
So you've gotten spammed.
So we got another one from Kelly Brown.
Oh, hi Kelly.
Merry Christmas, PNA Podcast Express. Thank you for the laughs. I shouldn't read these with my glasses on because it really makes me sound like I'm partially...
I don't know how your glasses make you sound different, but I like it.
Well, I can't read.
Oh, okay.
They're not reading glasses.
Okay.
I don't got the readers.
Trying to explain for the listeners at home. Yeah, when he has his glasses on, he sounds totally different than when he doesn't.
So, Merry Christmas, PNA Podcast Express. Thank you for the laughs. So, we thank you for listening
and laughing. I'm very happy people find humor in our podcast. Nothing brightens my day more than when somebody checks in or somebody emails me or somebody texts me and says, fuck, this part was so funny. And I'm like, I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
The one thing that this has been good for my psyche is that, when you have all these thoughts rattling around in your head, you're kind of like, oh, I might be a little fucked up.
No, we're both extremely fucked up.
But so is everybody else.
I know, everyone else is just as fucked
friends.
up. Dude, I said something in a podcast one time, somebody texted and they're like, man, that summed it all up for me. Like, it was like a fucking big-time therapeutic breakthrough for them. And I'm like, you're not the only one that feels this way, buddy. Trust me.
No, everybody's this fucked up.
That's right.
And we just vocalize it. We could give a shit less. So we're just like, oh, yeah, we're fucked up.
And that's part of it. Like, everybody's like, how can you say all those things? And I'm like, how can you not? So you want to bottle these things in?
Yeah, no shit. You don't want to get this out?
You're calling me the unhealthy one here?
Nobody calls us that anymore.
No.
They don't say we're fucked up. They say, oh, you guys are podcasters.
So hell yeah. Podcasters, and they stick their pinky out and podcasters.
Well, most of the people that do that, I like to think it's their pinky. It's not their pinky.
No, they want to check your oil.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, look at that.
Thank you. Still my favorite.
Totally winning me over.
That's right. Just keep the beer flowing.
That was actually that's the kind of celebrity you get after 137 episodes.
I don't want to even begin to think about that. Somebody said that. They walked up, oh, Mr. Podcaster, too big to talk to me now. I'm like, no.
You want to be on our podcast?
Yeah. And that's what I always offer people because, I've been to some events or been to not events, but things. What do you call them for lack of a better term? They're events, even if they're like a funeral or something, right? That's an event.
Right.
People, oh, Mr. Podcaster. I'm like, you're welcome on my podcast anytime, dude.
So, my bands have never been big.
Right.
But we always put on a show like we were big.
Right, of course.
And I got told one time after a show, and I'm just sitting around talking to these people. I didn't really know them.
Thank you.
But I'm just sitting around talking to them, right? Thank you. And they're like, they just stop kind of in the middle. And they go, wow, you're like a real person. And I'm like,
wait a minute.
Why wouldn't I be?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Not big enough to not be a real person.
Right.
And B, yeah, pretty much am. My mama raised me right. So,
right.
it was kind of one of those shell shock things that even when you're not a celebrity, if you carry yourself like you're one, people think you might be.
That's right. No, and there's a lot of merit to that. You're 100% correct on that. Like, I'm very humble when it comes to the podcast because I just cannot believe we have literally started with just good friends, ourselves, and us just sitting talking on microphones. And here we are. I never thought it'd go this far.
No, if you'd have told me when you and I, because this was one of those things where it's like, all right, we're bowling. Hey, next week you want to get together before we bowl and do this? And it took us a couple weeks to kind of.
Do you remember some of the initial reactions? Like, you have a podcast, like, or like Eddie. Well, thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
And then of course he despises the podcast and says it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time. Why you wasting all your time?
We might be bigger in Sanilac County than Sanilac Broadcast.
I think so. Except for Swap Shop.
Well, something tells me we have a lot of the same listeners.
I'll tell you what, if you email us and you have something you want to sell, buy, sell, or trade, we'll advertise it.
Yeah, hell yeah, we will. We'll advertise the shit out of that.
So that's the letters P, the letter N, the letter A, PNA at hornygrapefruit.com. Buy, sell, or trade.
Yep, absolutely. We will send us your, well, I was going to say self-addressed stamped envelope, but it's email, so you don't have to do that.
No, just you can even send it BCC. We don't need to know who the fuck it comes from.
Yeah, we'll just sell that.
Just leave a contact that we can get you at somehow. Even like, point the pitchfork at the moon. I got you, boo.
I've got a hay baler for sale. Hooks to a 3-point hitch, and
they say it's a square baler, but they always come out rectangular.
I've also got a set of those shears not for sheep, not for goats, beard shears. They're beard shears.
They're for your scrotum.
And then if you're not looking for those, I've got a 1912 radiator for a 1915 John Deere that you can come and get that.
All right, now cool it. Oh no, this is why they don't let me host Swap Shop.
Oh, you and me both. I don't. So it's kind of funny because we'll go into local lore here for a minute.
Just okay, Russ.
Russ. Let me see here. Where is
First
it?
drop of the night.
Oh, not that one. Although that's a good one.
That's a great one. Not that one either.
Yeah, I got to look here real quick.
Come on, man. I
think I got to go to the other.
You got to go to the other drop card. Oh.
Why am I not finding this?
I don't know. But I still
from your butthole headquarters
haven't found what I'm looking for. Okay.
There is I'm like sitting at an odd angle to the screen for normal, and there's a horrible glare on it, so I have to like lean way over here away from the microphone.
Now lean back.
But so where was I?
I don't know. This is another problem with the podcast I've heard sometimes. Like, if you are a person that has no iota of ADD, or say you're like a court stenographer, you don't like following the podcast because it'll drive you crazy.
It drives us a little crazy. Sometimes we'll be like an hour in and I'll go, oh, I was talking about that.
Oh, shit.
Maybe I shouldn't go back to it now.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, we leave a lot of things open-ended, I feel like.
Yeah, like this. No, we were talking about, I was talking about the contrasting styles of...
from your butthole headquarters.
Of the butthole headquarters.
Right.
Listening to Dave and Eddie do Swap Shop.
Right.
So here's my rendition of Eddie doing Swap Shop. All right, so you've got a 1924 John Deere V bottom plow. You've got a square baler, and you've got a teacup set from a 1958 kids play set. Your number is 989-555-1212. 989-555-1212. 989-555-1212. Caller number 7.
Yeah, that's
And then there's Dave. Dave wants to get through as many as he can. So Dave's like, oh, you got a bunch of shit for sale, and your number is 989-555-1212. Caller number 7. Have you noticed that contrast between the two of them?
Yes. Dave always talks about, well, I got 47 callers through on Swap Shop in the hour today, and of course, Eddie will be like, I normally get like 16.
We've got time for one caller left. Caller number 14. Can you go ahead?
We got about 9 minutes left in the show. We got time for one more caller. Caller number 14. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
And Dave probably gets through more commercials too.
It's time for your
From your butthole headquarters.
You got it.
So there's that deep contrast between the two.
Right.
And when I worked there, I used to laugh about it. Because Dave would be like, "I'm running a swap shop today. I'm going to try and get 50," and be like, "Oh, damn, that's pretty aggressive."
That's ambitious.
It's an hour show, and you have 15 minutes of commercials in there.
So that means you got about 37 seconds per caller.
Yeah, and he would do it. So back to our illustrious thing here.
Oh, we're illustrious, all right.
Our year in review. Just so that everybody keeping score at home, is that 2 pitchers down?
Yeah.
We're 2 pitchers in, so it could get a little bit bit dicey on the details.
Aiming for 50.
Yes.
So here's what's happened this year, equipment-wise.
Holy cow!
Holy fuck. We've added, we started off with the Zoom P4. We're up to the P8 now, which is a unit, an absolute unit. That's our sound mixing board now, what we record upon. We learned that Spreaker, which we love it for doing football games, not so good for doing our podcast.
Well, it did good on some things, but
if you have a good internet connection.
We found it has some technical glitches.
It does not like it, even if you hotspot it off of your phone, and we discovered this even doing football games, you cannot use your phone for anything but a hotspot, or else it'll provide a skip.
My phone is pretty powerful internet-wise, so I didn't think that would be an issue, but yeah.
It's more of a Spreaker thing, but
yeah.
So other equipment-wise, we, of course, went from our headsets what are they even called? What brand are they? Doesn't matter. They're good. They're awesome.
Oh, we have the AKG headphones now.
And then, of course, then we went to the Tascam mics, which I still love. We still use 2 of those.
Yep.
We started off with Tascams. We got 4 of those. We started off with mic stands. Now we have mic booms. We have the AKG headphones, which are wonderful, wonderful units. We have a bunch of those. We got the Zoom. What are they? The Z... What are they? ZD1s? No.
ZM1s.
ZM1 microphones, which is what Adam and I currently use. We have a third one, too, by the way. Various cords and all kinds of shit. Mic isolators. We look like a professional unit. We got a big old carrying case for all the equipment.
Yeah.
Other milestones are we have cards printed up with all of our information on them.
Stickers. With more stickers.
Cards. We have stickers with more to come. This glory hole approved by the PNA Podcast Express sticker.
Yes.
That's going to be a hot one. People are going to want that. That one's going to end up, somebody's going to catch on. It's going to be on, next thing you know, they'll be selling them on eBay for like $10 a sticker or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because they will be a limited edition. Because
that's a limited run.
We don't approve every glory hole.
Not every glory hole can be glory hole approved by the PNA Podcast Express. So remember that. So that's going to be a limited run.
So when you see one that is, know that it's special.
Yeah, if you see that above a glory hole anywhere, you should immediately either suck whatever comes through it or stick your manhood through that glory hole.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't end up with like a poking scenario where
no sword fighting.
Because
that'd be more like jousting.
Should we make it a policy to only put the sticker on one side?
Yeah, because if you put it on both sides, that could lead to a lot of confusion.
That could lead to a lot of like nub rubs.
Yeah, or some docking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We don't need that.
No, we don't need that. I don't need that on my conscience, man. Fuck that.
No.
So I'll be like, and And then the head of my penis was firmly ensconced in his foreskin. And at first I didn't know if I'd like it at all, but something about the warmth and the feel of having a turtleneck on the head of my dick made me feel special.
So we another milestone we made was this whole scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when we first started setting up like...
Right, what did we do? I wonder what episode we started drops. It had to be in the teens somewhere, I think.
Well, I think I was holding...
You were holding your phone up to it.
Yeah.
Now we actually have them in our board. The beautiful Zoom P8. What a piece, what a unit, what a piece of equipment that thing is.
So, and I am researching a companion piece that you could have your own drop board.
That's awesome, like a remote drop board that hooks to it.
Yep.
This thing, I cannot say enough positive things about all the Zoom equipment we bought. And they're kind of an upstart. They're going to be a big name in the podcasting industry. But that P8 is a fucking unit. That thing increased us. I'd say that increased our podcast as far as production value, quality, and everything by light years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the noise canceling it's got built in, all that stuff. I mean, we could do a whole hour commercial on this thing.
Don't get me wrong.
We love it.
It was not cheap, but it's a fucking unit.
Oh, it is a tank. And I've been very impressed with their microphones. Mm-hmm. Very impressed. Not that our Tascams aren't awesome.
No, they're good too, but man, we've got so much equipment.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We got this big case to put everything in, and it actually pretty much holds everything. So
I've become, in my infinite sadness and loneliness, there's a hole, and it can only be filled by consumerism sometimes. And my hobby is the podcast. So what do I generally do? Like every week, I almost every week I come in with something new for the podcast. Don't I? Like tonight it was more fucking XLR fucking cords and everything else.
Well, and those are awesome.
Yeah, because
they're color coded. Yeah. They go along with our board.
Right.
And we're, the one nice thing is we're both pretty good about dropping some money on stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't mind at all. I love it,
and I do too. I'm an absolute.
Plus, there's nothing that warms my heart more than when people walk up to us now, all set up, and be like, "Whoa, holy fuck!
What are you guys are doing?
Look professional."
You remember when before we'd set up, it'd be like, "What did you jackasses doing with that laptop?"
Well, we're looking at porn and we're going to jerk off.
Well, that was true.
Well, be that as it may.
So
You'll have that on these big jobs.
We've come a long way on our equipment. And
what a year it's been.
Yes.
Besides my kids and the podcast, everything else this year has been an absolute dreck for me in my life. But at least I have those two things.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a highlight. Obviously my family and kids for me as well. Pretty proud of my kids.
You've raised two fine, outstanding young gentlemen there. So
some people may disagree.
Although I don't know about the grapefruit episode. Yeah.
I can't wait to ask his girlfriend's coming tomorrow, stay for a couple of days, and I can't wait to be
maybe that's where he learned it from.
I can't wait to be like, hey. I found out where he learned it from.
Okay, you can be like, hey, guess what?
I won't divulge that.
Tomorrow morning we're gonna have pancakes and we're gonna have bacon and we're gonna have grapefruit.
Holy grapefruit!
Holy grapefruit! I don't understand. Every time I go to carve a grapefruit, it's got a hole in one end of it.
It's already pre-carved,
and it's mushy on the inside.
And it's like it's been juiced. Oh boy!
It's been pulverized on the inside.
Oh boy! So yeah, I'm anxious to.
You found out where he learned it from, huh?
Yeah, I found out where he learned it from. It was not his girlfriend.
Was it one of his wrestling mates?
It could have been.
Through experience.
I can't tell you that I heard. Did you credit me? Well, no.
No. Did you credit me? That's the life of a podcast right there.
I told that wrestler that, well, you'll just have to come on the podcast yourself.
That's right. We'll offer you, what do they call that, your redemption?
Yeah, you can have your own episode to get everything straight and straighten this out at another date. But for now, the one thing I will say is Anthony's presentation of that was probably much better than we would have gotten out of the originator.
Okay, well, that's fair.
So
that's what it's all about generally, and that's the thing about the history of comedy. There have been comedians before that have written outstanding jokes, but their delivery isn't great. So other comedians have taken out those bits and ran with them, made of their own, and delivered them as as they should. And that's just the business. I mean, I know that a lot of people have talked about in the history of stand-up comedy about stealing jokes and blah, blah, blah. But in the English language, there's only a finite amount of words and word combinations that can go together. So really, it's kind of like music. You probably run into this with music, too, where there's only so many notes and so many combinations of notes you can put together and progressions that something's going to sound a little bit like something else, even though it may not be exactly.
There is a lot of truth to that. There is a lot of truth to that.
So sometimes, I've written bits before. So here's my problem. Back when I was a heavier drinker, I would watch I would just consume all kinds of stand-up and everything else. And then days later, I'd get an epiphany and I'd write something. And somebody would be like, oh, yeah, well, that's from Letterkenny. And I'd be like, no, it's not. And I'd go back and watch it. It'd be like 70 to 80% of what they did on Letterkenny, and I put my own little spin on it. But my drunken subconscious said, hey, that's a good bit.
Yeah, oh, trust me, there have been things that I've said on here that I went, man, where did I hear that?
God, I got that from someplace.
That's too good for me to have come up with.
Like, I'm not that intelligent.
Right, and then as it turns out,
I'm intelligent. Right. I'm not that creative. That's the word.
Yes. I'm smart enough to suss it out.
Right.
But, yeah.
And generally, I'll give credit. You've heard me tell jokes before or do stand-up, and I'll credit whomever it was or whoever it was I heard it or who had done it first. But here's the thing.
MSU's kind of getting killed.
Well, they're playing like donkeys right now.
Well, they got how much of their team are they missing?
Quite a bit. The defense is actually playing really well. So Pitt, one of those touchdowns, the defense really couldn't help it because the offense threw an interception, and Pitt's offense started off inside the red zone. So,
yeah, I don't like the whole we don't play because we're going to declare for the NFL thing.
I agree, but at the same time, I agree. I don't like it, but I respect it. Think about how many millions of dollars are on the line for these guys.
Okay,
though.
but would they be there without playing for their team?
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, are they really team players at this point? Obviously, they care about their own pockets, but at the same time, and actually, I had this very discussion with somebody today, with Nelly. Like, sometimes I got to look out for number one a little bit more. Sometimes I'm a little too much, and I don't, like, I let people walk all over me because I don't stand up for myself.
Yeah, but this is a different scenario. When you are playing, especially now, in the climate we're in now, where there are people getting paid to play college football.
Right.
I think you should have to forfeit every dime of that if you don't see through a season.
No. I can. Okay, so you're onto something here, and this is actually quite brilliant. And I will agree with you this. Now that college football players can make money, if you back out before the end of the season and don't play in the bowl game or whatever, yeah, because you're going to the NFL, by all means, here's what I propose. Instead of having to give all that money back to the NCAA because the NCAA can go fuck themselves, give it to a charity.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
But I honestly believe that if you're not going to, you're there playing and you're getting your education.
Right.
And to me, that was always kind of, I don't want to say it was enough because I think for the money that's in college football,
right,
some of that needs to go out there to those kids. But overall, you're out there playing for your education, you're playing for your school, and you're playing for those people that you're playing with. I mean,
right.
That is the last time you are going. Bo Schembechler said it best. It's the last time you'll play for a team.
That's right.
And it is. I mean, that is the last time you will play for another group of people and not just for yourself. And
unless you become a switch hitter.
Well, yeah.
Then you're playing for the other team.
Or both teams.
At the same time.
Or every team involved.
Or just whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But I concur. You always play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. The old hockey cliche, yeah. Oh, they see plays like that where they just have bad drops. The Spartans, go fuck yourself, Sparty. I'm going to lose some money on this game if they don't pick this up.
Now, the one thing that I do think should happen is that if you are a very prolific athlete, I think that the university should have the option to pick up, because, I mean, let's face it, everything but the top 4 bowl games now are considered irrelevant.
Right,
You know,
essentially.
so I think that the college team should, so if Michigan State, if they wanted their big running back to play, they should have bought a insurance for him.
Right.
And if they bought insurance for him, he should play.
And it's got to be sizable. Like, you know what? If you play in this game and you get injured and your career's over, we insured you for $5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the now that they have the minimum or the maximum for the contract,
Right.
like all the first round picks or whatever get their first.
It's a rookie contract, yes.
Right. So
And it's slotted by where you're picked in the draft.
right. So now that they have that, it should be all based on that, I think. And if you get hurt, and really hurt, not just faking it like a bitch.
Looking like a bitch. Yep. I think so. That's a good year in review topic.
Yeah, totally relevant to what we did earlier this year. So let's get back on track here. So, we've talked about some of our guests, some of our wonderful guests. We've talked about some of our topics, but we've not really delved into the topics of the podcast yet.
Oh, man.
Like some of the things we've really.
So the two that come to my mind that were my favorite all year long, two that stick out most in my brain that I love are J.R. Jupiter and the PNA podcast, Finding That Gold.
Yeah.
One of the most heartwarming moments I've ever had on this podcast was when we were accused of being so good that we recorded all the PNA podcast and put them out there just to make fun of them.
And I wish, but no.
No.
That was a legit thing that Anthony actually found for me. And here's the funny thing. I come home one night from recording the podcast.
Right.
And the boys are sitting there in the living room by the TV. And they're like, hey, we're listening to tonight's episode. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
We haven't even published
We
it
haven't
yet.
released it yet.
Yeah.
No, we're listening to tonight's episode. And of course, it was
What's that? We're good for now. Thank you.
so then they're like, no, listen, it's your episode, it's your podcast.
Like, yeah, and we release at 7:30 on Monday mornings.
And my mom, she made us some toast, some cinnamon toast, and
Right.
and I'm just like, oh my
The
god.
key is his mom puts extra sugar on it and heavy on the butter because she's got cerebral palsy, so it ends up with a little more butter on there than you'd want.
I don't remember. Did I? Because I really don't. I was so excited about this thing that had been dropped in my lap. I don't remember if I sent it to you and was like, dude, you got to check this out.
No,
or if I actually held off until.
Dude, you blindsided me on the podcast with it, so that was a
Okay.
genuine reaction. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I'm like, did I send that to him ahead of time?
No, you did not. You
But-
did not. Which, by the way, all these episodes, still not one pre-production meeting at all. And to this day, still no editing of material.
We did have to piece a couple episodes
fused
together.
episodes together, but we have not eliminated, we have not cut anything. Is that fair?
That
not on
is
purpose.
100% true.
Right.
We have done no post editing whatsoever,
And that's the beauty of
or
it.
pre-editing, or pre-talk about what we're going to talk about. I
Hell,
mean,
this thing isn't. You can't even consider this professional at this point.
no, which is probably why people like it. But the one thing we're both good at is talking.
Right.
So, that bodes well for us. But yeah, the PNA podcast was definitely a very, very unique find. I have to credit my children with that because they totally did it to get my goat. And
it backfired on them.
And they're like, oh, you mean this isn't you? They were such assholes about it, such smug little pricks.
And like I said, it backfired on them.
Oh, yeah. And then I immediately brought it to the podcast
And we spun it to gold.
and used it to our own means. And yeah, I need to go home and be like, in your face, you little shits.
You little bitch.
So, yeah,
Quit being a bitch.
there was that. That was fantastic.
So those are the two in my mind. Do you have any that stick out in your brain that really?
Well, obviously the Bovisphere is pretty dear to my
the
heart.
Bovisphere, brilliant. We went on. I heard 3 different people have told me, like, I thought you guys were dead serious. Like,
yeah.
And you guys went on. You guys didn't just go on for like 2 minutes. You guys went on for 35 minutes.
In great detail.
Right.
About nothing.
And that was true improv right there.
Yeah, that was our War of the Worlds.
It was. It really was.
People are looking up the Bovisphere. Holy
shit. This sounds...
Do I need to be concerned about
Holy
this?
Christ, my kids are going to Cedar Point next week.
That's in Ohio. That's right next to the Bovisphere.
Oh, shit. Some of those roller coasters are going to put them in danger.
Oh, I mean, we had elevations. I don't remember what they all were. We need to review that sometime.
Yeah. Well, Cookie, you have an assignment.
Yeah.
Give us the elevations for the Bovisphere, because Cookie does love the Bovisphere episodes more than anything. Like,
yeah.
There's one main one, and there's a couple of little side Bovisphere episodes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
we talked about Al Gore. We talked about cows farting. We talked about Ohio sucking. That episode had it all.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And I mean, Ohio still sucks.
Yeah, it's the asshole of the United States.
Yeah, and it's the South of the North is what I like to call
It's
it.
the South of the North.
So
the Bovisphere was good. One of the highlights, one of the watershed moments was, of course, muting Emily.
Yes.
Oh, God. People still talk about that. How she went from just her straightforward, just fucking hearing her bitching on the mic, to all of a sudden you could still hear her, but it was drastically
a lot
reduced.
farther away.
Because she was getting picked up on everybody else's microphones.
And for Mike, that was like probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened to him.
Right. Oh, he loved that, man.
Our mute button is still a hero.
So other things that have happened this year, of course, I told Mike he needed to build an image and build a brand, so that's how the cowboy hat thing started. I'm like, you got to go with this, man.
Yeah.
Like, people, your first impression's a lasting one, and if you can build something that makes you very memorable, like a trademark, marquee kind of a look, a signature look, go with it, man.
Well, definitely. And Mike has that little bit of a, I don't want to say it's a Southern drawl, but he's got an accent to him.
A little
the way
bit,
he
yeah,
talks,
yeah.
and just he has a very unique delivery in the way he talks, and the whole cowboy thing just fits him.
So other things I appreciate about this year is how I've become. I love the podcast so much, and I'm consistently and constantly seeking out new material for the podcast. So my activities,
hold on,
but my activities and actions when I'm not on the podcast have become absurd.
Well, I was just going to say, do you I am always thinking about things that I can talk on the podcast, and then I never talk about them because we just go off the cuff, and it totally never goes in the direction I think it will. Like, there's literally been times when I'm like, I'm going to steer this thing this way.
Let's go.
And then, not happening.
Like a bridge over troubled waters.
So, there's always that intent of, okay, I'm not going to think about this too much because I don't want it to become unnatural.
I still have some notes that I haven't talked about from months ago.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm
definitely.
like, well, I can save those for the future, although the relevance might be starting to wear off. But wait, it can be relevant if you make it relevant.
Yeah. Well, like, I still want to do that. I still want to do that tribute episode for the guy from Ghost,
Oh yeah,
Patrick Swayze.
of course.
I know probably not as relevant as it once was.
See, I
still.
remember. See, I like to picture my Patrick Swayze as more of the Dirty Dancing Patrick Swayze.
Well, I do too.
I like how his pants were way too tight in that movie.
Yeah, they were. They were in Ghost too.
In Roadhouse too. Wait a minute, is this a common theme?
Is this a pattern?
Did Patrick Swayze not have a good tailor? or did he have the best tailor?
I was going to say, did he have the perfect tailor for Patrick Swayze?
If you're a fan of Patrick Swayze's junk, please email us and let us know why at pna@hornygrapefruit.com.
He had an Italian tailor that would sit there and go, we make that little package look pretty good.
Well, you're dealing with a small sausage and a couple of meatballs here, but we don't make it look good.
We don't make it look good for you. I need the same tailor.
I need the same Taylor. So Patrick Swayze's Taylor, if you're listening out there, hit us up. We need some pants here on the podcast.
I know I make no more meatball and twig look good for anybody other than Patrick.
My ambition had died when he passed away.
The fuzz is back.
Now he really is a ghosta. And I don't like the pottery.
That whole movie, I think he was actually going for Whoopi Goldberg.
It was a misdirection. Classic.
Yeah, classic misdirection.
In Italy, we call that putting the meatball before the sausage.
Oh boy, I don't know what that has to do with anything we talked about this past year. But.
Nothing has anything to do about what we talked about this past year, and nothing has anything to do about what we talked about the past year with anything else.
So tune in next year for more nothing.
I want to be labeled at some point the king of the non sequiturs.
The nonsensical.
Yes.
That might even be better.
So
non sequitur is a big word that a lot of our listeners don't know.
Sorry, I apologize.
Can't hear anything you say.
I apologize for that there. Yes.
Well, I'm going to turn you on. Do you want to be on?
Oh, shit. That's a podcast first.
She didn't come through because I didn't have that on. But
Well, I get it. I fully see what you did there.
there we go.
Okay, the non sequitur thing is an Andrew thing, and that's the youngest son's. He always uses that word.
Okay.
Confuses
For
me.
those who've never
100%.
heard this voice before, this is my wife, Mary.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. It only took 138 episodes.
Thank you.
She sat here through about 40 of them, but
Yeah. Well, she sits here through about half of 40 of them. Then she goes out and hangs out in the car and watches TV on her phone for a while.
because whatever it is on the phone is definitely more interesting than what we've got going.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll allow it.
She watches a lot of homesteading YouTube videos.
I do.
And some of them are pretty interesting. Other ones are like, I made eggs again today.
I just had to crawl up a chicken's ass.
There's some crazy people out there, that's for sure.
I like crazy people.
Yeah, crazy people are good.
So who was your favorite guest? Well, no. Who was one of your favorite guests this past year?
Oh, boy. Well, everybody who was on the 50th.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
The whole crew. I mean, I love everyone, but I mean, some of the best material we got all year, and I know he straight up sucks, was Matt.
Oh, absolutely.
He contacted me. He might be willing to give it a go again on the podcast at some point.
Oh, really?
But dude, Matt straight up sucks.
Yeah, we. In honor of Matt. Boy, these microphones, you get a little bit away from them. They do not.
No, you got to be right up on it.
Dude, Matt straight up sucks.
So, Shelly, of course, is my favorite female, and I wish she liked me more, but whatever.
Yeah, she doesn't. I mean, it's
And
understandable.
I get it. It's fully understandable. I mean, I don't like me either, but maybe she could find it in her heart too, but no.
She's awful highbrow. She seems kind of smart. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I hate to lay that harsh truth on you, but
No, it's warranted.
but I mean, there is this.
Dude, Matt straight up sucks.
So Shelly, and I wish Nellie was around. I know she listens to the podcast. She lives in Houston. She was in Antarctica. I wish she was around to be on the podcast at some point. She said she's going to.
Well, we have full capability to bring people in now remotely.
She can call. I mean,
true.
If you're listening right now, give us a call.
Yeah.
We should get a number. We should actually put out a number.
Should.
I would love that. And we can give people, like, roughly, if you call us on this night between this time, we may or may not answer. And if we do answer,
I believe that I have a number for that.
okay.
I just have to look it up.
So that's
here.
a new addition for the new year, 2022. We are going to start taking random call-ins. We're going to give you a general time which we'll be on. We'll advertise it the week before. And if you call in and we're so inclined and maybe there's a lull in the podcast because we get those quite often. I mean, our listeners complain all the time. They're like, a lot of dead air.
Yeah, because neither one of us like to talk.
No, we don't
ever.
talk at all. Absolutely
Ever.
not. Maybe we'll answer a phone call. Boy, that was a roundabout way to get to that point. Yeah, I know, Chewy. I hear you. I didn't like it either.
Yeah, he was upset with that. Oh, no, what's this one?
From your Buffalo headquarters.
So what was I watching? I was watching Ocean's 11 again. And always still, and I've said it on the podcast before, one of my favorite shticks is, first of all, when Han Solo was talking to Chewie, and they could understand each other even though they speak totally different languages.
Yeah.
Well, like the little Chinese gymnast in Ocean's 11 speaks Mandarin, but yet for some reason the one guy can understand him and he can understand him even though he's speaking in English to Mandarin.
Yes.
It's fucking, that's a good comedy shtick right there. That's fucking hilarious.
Absolutely. So I'm looking to see here if I still have this number, and it appears that I might.
So one of the great things, and also with Han and Chewie, is when like Chewie's just pissed right off, and Han is just like, I know, like he's fully understanding what Chewie is fucking trying to convey, and Chewie's just like, will you stop it? He says. That's
all right,
great.
I'm gonna actually get us a different, better number.
So that's just like it's so heartwarming when we'll be broadcasting a football game. Like when Eddie and I were doing the one time, and I think it was you who texted, "You guys sound great, just like an old married gay couple."
Well, and it was true.
Yeah.
See, this is I'm a podcast killer. All I do is get to probably swat at him when he
Aww.
when I hear about all the things that he said. Aww.
No, it's hilarious.
Actually, when we've done demographics, me getting hit by you is ranks pretty high with our listeners.
Oh, that's quality right there. It's just a. So the cover art is just a. What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap. That's it.
All right, I'm gonna find us a quality number here, and it's not any of these. So this will be a podcast first on our podcast.
A podcast first on our podcast.
So I think I have one that I'm going to use here.
Welcome to the year in review. Pigs in space. What's that?
Space.
There you go. You got it. The original Muppet Show is very underrated, I feel like.
Oh, God. Yes. Completely.
Like, they wrote jokes. Like, they were ahead of their time because it was entertaining for chillin', but also for adults, too. Yeah. Like, they had... Like, Pixar does a good job with that, too. Like, keeping it entertaining for adults as well as the kids. It's for the kids. Well, I thought it was fucking hilarious, too, man.
Well, hell yeah. All right, I'll have our number here in just a second.
Oh, is that what you're working on right now?
Verify.
Trust but verify.
Yep.
Man, I have not received anything from our constituents for a while. They do not like me anymore. Social media is such a fucking dreck of terribleness.
Yep.
All right, our official PNA Podcast Express number, so we don't have to use my work number anymore.
All right, yeah, don't use the work number.
Is 810-294-0455.
Okay.
810-294-0455.
Do we have voicemail? Can they record a message for us?
I
Can you set that up?
believe that is a yes.
So once again, give that phone number, please. So you can leave us a voicemail at 810-295. I forgot the rest.
0455.
810-295-0455. Once again, that's 810-295-0455.
You actually read that wrong.
Oh,
Erase
shit,
that from your
I
memory.
fucked everything up.
810-294-0455.
All right, so just to reiterate, go on.
810-294-0455.
Even if
Sounds
you
like
want,
a buckhole number.
that's right.
It is. It is.
The butthole.
We got a butthole there, Russ. Russ, can you give us the butthole?
02940455.
From your butthole headquarters.
So call and leave us messages now because, I mean, here's what I think it is. No one wants to email us because they don't want to hear us read their thoughts in our voices.
Well,
but if their thoughts can be in their voices.
Or just, if you could be like, fuck all y'all, I think we'll get a lot of fuck offs.
And you can also replay those on the podcast.
That's right. And we can get
Exactly.
sound drops. First off, fuck that bitch and that click you claim. That's right.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
can be anonymous or
That's
it can
right.
be a birthday wish.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
I like it. I like where Mary's going with this.
So you could be like, fuck you from, and then hang up.
Yeah, exactly. This is, Joe, fuck all y'all.
The podcast sucks, and I tried to fuck my chick to it, and I lost my fucking erection.
I'm gonna try calling it quick.
You owe me for a Viagra. All right, checks in the mail.
Fruit basket has a new meaning to
That's
me
right.
now.
The old banana hammock. Are we calling it on the?
shit.
I'm calling it.
There you go.
There it is.
Wow.
It works. Hello? Hello? Oh, wait, what the hell's going
Nobody's
on?
answered yet. Phone's ringing, dude.
Oh, I got to tell this that I'll allow this.
I
There
know,
we go.
Donnie, shut the fuck up.
Now we have stuff going crazy.
Holy shit, it's like Inception with our
I'm in
voices.
underwater.
So that works. 810-294-0455. 810-294-0455.
Special bonus to the first person who calls and leaves us a message.
Now you need new business cards.
Yeah, I
We
know.
do. Holy shit.
Now I got to get those bitches reprinted. Jesus Christ. Well, we'll certainly look forward to that.
We didn't put a number on any of these.
No, we didn't put a phone number. We put our emails on there. Which, like I said, one of my favorite points of Meet the Parents, when he thinks that De Niro, the father, is a florist, a retired florist, he's like, but it's what's inside the soil. Because you see, in 3 months, there's a bulb in there. It's in this beautiful plant. Well, Greg, we'll certainly look forward to that. So I always say, well, we'll certainly look forward to that.
Yeah. The ones of calls that we'll get to this number.
Well, we'll certainly look forward to that.
Again, that number.
Here's an assignment
many-
for you people in Sand Lake County. Call into Swap Shop, offer up something absurd, and give that phone number.
Oh, tomorrow, the end of the year swap shop. I've got
Adam.
I've got a membership to the 2021 Yogurt of the Month Club. Got for sale.
My gut just can't handle yogurt anymore. It's got its own flora. I don't need to be altering the chemical balance of what's going on in my stomach.
That true. So if you need that Yogurt of the Month Club, Eddie, you call us and you tell us.
And that is 810-294-0455.
Oh, you got it right that time. I'm so proud of
Did
him.
I actually get it right that time?
Yes.
Holy shit. I just tossed out random numbers in my head.
Well, I'm really proud of you.
Considering if you listen to the first 10 episodes, I can't even get the name of the podcast right.
I had a whole bunch of numbers, and that happened to be the top one, so I took it.
PQ podcast.
I always put welcome to the PNA Express podcast.
Yeah.
Remember what I was?
Oh, you would do that terrible at the beginning. The PNA Express podcast.
P ampersand podcast.
Oopsie.
The A&P Grocery Express podcast. I mean,
It's always Farmer Jack savings time.
oh, you were
They
such a
have reward
dipshit.
system.
I'm still such a dipshit. That
Anybody
hasn't
got
changed.
Anybody got a rewards card for Farmer Jack?
Oh, I want that.
Yeah.
If you have a reward card for Farmer Jack, call us at 810-294-0455.
We have a new number.
Because you know what that reward card will get you? A whole lot of nothing.
We'll send you a sticker or 3.
Yeah.
Why not? Oh, shit! Yeah. One of my favorite drops besides the ha. So the best new addition has to be the butthole drop, though. And
From your butthole headquarters.
Matt straight up sucks.
Dude, Matt straight up sucks.
Look at me. I can't rattle these off ever. But you throw a bunch of beer in me,
Yo, shit.
and I'm like a maestro. I
What
can
do
play
they
this
call
thing
that?
like
They
a...
call that, oh, fuck. What's that called when you're drunk? And you can't, you have
Drunk?
to get drunk again
Drunk.
to no, something about stasis of, it's a whole technical term. Forget it. You know what? Much like talking about debauchery or what was the other word I used? A non sequitur. Our listeners don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we used a lot of big words. We really apologize for that in our end of the year
They
episode.
Google them all. They don't know that they don't. They
Right.
just look them up.
Get out your thesaurus, and that's not a dinosaur.
Yep.
We got to get you a computer that we tie into this shit.
Well, he's got one. It's a damn phone.
Well, we need to tie it into this shit. Don't you think? Or am I enough? Am I enough for her?
Time of my life. Yes.
Dude, Matt straight up
Yes,
sucks.
okay, we'll tie that in. I'll bring my laptop up, we'll tie it in, and I'll start playing drops. The worst drop of the year, though, was the duck one that Mike had, the chick deep throating it. Whack, 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 whack.
Oh, yeah.
The Northern Lights duck or something like that.
Boy, we won't call them out, but we've had some awful guests as well. We've had some stellar guests, but holy
some
shit.
terrible guests.
We won't call them out, but we've had them. We've had them.
Do you want me to leave?
No.
No. You've not been a guest yet. The jury's not out on you yet.
Yeah, we'll see how the feedback is.
We'll see if you can come back.
You know,
We'll
the-
judge
the-
what your Q score is after today.
Speaking of drops, you need that drop for that grapefruit thing. That noise. No.
Oh wait, let me bring that up.
Oh, you had one?
I sent it to you.
I believe you probably did, and I was probably drunk.
So this is what was actually sent to you. So the whole grapefruit thing that Anthony brought to light for us. And holy shit, did I text you a lot since then?
He's been bored.
Bored. I'm fucking bored.
No, did I not send it to you?
Bored. I'm fucking bored. You did not send it.
Oh, how could I not send this to you?
You'd be remiss if you thought you sent it.
I don't know.
Oh, I feel so bad now because you missed out on a major portion of this.
Oh, man. See, this is the problem. We thought we had this conversation, and we didn't have it, so it never happened. And I'm thinking to myself,
Oh, see, now I feel horrible.
well, and for a minute, I was feeling like the asshole here.
You're not.
I didn't work on the asshole. I don't know why. I don't know what I
you're
did to
complete
those people.
asshole.
Oh, I know.
I don't want to.
Like I
Step on
slacked.
your game.
I slacked off so much this year, even though I was there more than anybody else. What a slacker! Phone's ringing, dude.
Is it the podcast one?
Oh God!
Replace the grapefruit.
Oh my God!
Twist up and down the shaft and suck the head at the same time.
There's a hand on the shaft. Suck the head of this. Oh my God!
Replace the grapefruit from your mouth.
That is
You're gonna twist up
disturbing.
and down the shaft and suck the head at the same time.
If I heard those noises coming from my crotch region,
Oh, horrific.
I don't know if I could. I'd be like, stop.
And dude, she kind of looks like Billy D. Williams.
I think it is Billy D. Williams. Is that? I mean, the Colt 45 stopped selling, so he had to.
He had to go other ways.
Now he's. Oh my God! And the unit that she's holding is like this.
We broke my
massive
wife. We
golden
broke my
thing,
wife,
right?
dude.
She's just.
See, now you understand why people listen. We bring wholesome entertainment.
It's something, dude. Matt straight up sucks.
Dude, Matt straight up sucks.
We watched Caddyshack the other night.
Oh, did you?
Oh shit! We watched. So when we were on our fishing trip, we watched Police Academy 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Gutenberg, I still love you. Please, I think you would be my best friend, Goot.
My
Come on.
best friend.
He's my best friend. I wouldn't do that for you, Goot, but everything else. I'd find a chick that would. I'd call up Billy D. Williams.
Stop.
You gotta hold
That's
it. You gotta
haunting.
Listen
It's
to the voice of
haunting.
reason over here.
You've got to grip the shaft.
Now, twist up and down the shaft, suck the head at the
Twist
same
up
time.
and down on the shaft. My goodness.
I feel so bad I didn't send that to you. I feel like a horrible friend now.
I
guess I understand now why I didn't get a comment like, oh my God.
I'm glad you waited till the last day of the year because this year's been fucked up enough.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I'm knocking
Holy
over.
shit. Holy shit.
It's all going to hell in a handcart.
Oh, shit!
So what else about this year? What a great year for the podcast. Thank you, listeners. Definitely appreciate it. There's going to be a lot of changes coming in 2022.
Or not. It'll be exactly the same.
Some
probably.
good, some bad. We're going to try to make a few dollars off of it.
That we will do.
Please bear with us.
Changes take effort, and that's not what the podcast is about.
No. This podcast is not about effort. I bet you we are the laziest podcast to ever get to 138 episodes.
You know, it's funny because I'm in all these groups and people are like, I spent 19 hours editing my episode. It's like, I loaded it 18 seconds after we got done recording it.
Bazinga, bitches.
And yours sucks more than ours does. So.
Put it all on black.
Oh, look at what.
Get it. So, right. So
Now you understand how she ended up with me.
I was I was talking to somebody the other day, like, I do a podcast. I'm like, well, how many do you release a week? Like a week? I do like one every like week or two. I'm like, what do you mean every week or two? Well, sometimes it's like 3 weeks. I'm like, and you're complaining you don't have listeners, but yet you don't release on a consistent schedule? Well, I don't have time. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have time? Well, I record it, and then I got to edit it, and then I got to re-record some parts. I'm like, you're putting too much effort into this. Jesus Christ.
People just want to hear stuff.
Content, I tell Mikey this all the time. Content is king. It doesn't matter.
If we average doing okay, we're still better than people who spend hours
here's what
editing
I had
stuff.
to learn, and thank you. This is a positive to come from this year for the podcast. They're not all going to be a goddamn home run.
No.
Because you know what? As DMX once said, sunny days wouldn't seem so nice if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for pain. So the great episodes would not be as good if it weren't for the mediocre, if not somewhat meh episodes.
No, I mean, let's face it.
Very insightful, Phil.
Yeah.
We phoned it in with this one. We wanted to get one more in for this year.
We just wanted to get them numbers. Get them numbers.
You know, we're like, oh, people love a
year
best
in
of
review.
episode.
People
You know,
love the year-end countdown.
I
Listen
can't-
to the top 27 songs of 2021, according to my hamster, a Dalmatian, and a farting dog.
I can't wait until we get to the point where we have like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air recap episode, the
clips episode.
The clips episode.
Like
Down
every
memory lane.
major sitcom has done it. Oh, it's a clip episode.
Oh, do you remember that time Carlton did this? And then they boom, 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 and they go back to it
So
and they
the
listen to
best
it.
to ever handle a clip episode was, I believe it was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
No, it was Rick and Morty. They did a clip episode, and all the clips they played had never been aired in episodes before. I'm like, that's trolling your fucking audience right there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, remember that time in this episode? Blah, blah, and they're like, I've never seen this before. Then I noticed the theme. I'm like, these are brand new clips that they're putting into what they're saying is a clip show. It's a clip show.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
That's essentially what we do with our year in review.
Well, it's essentially what we've done. Half of this has been totally new content. We haven't
There's
rehashed
no
anything.
rhyme nor reason to anything we do on this show, folks.
No. If you haven't learned that by now, then, well, you haven't been listening.
If you're a fan of structure, this podcast is not for you.
I mean, what I do think is different is what we bring in our video episodes.
Right.
which we haven't had any yet.
Oh, they're all, all of our video episodes have been top rated.
Yeah, they're highly touted.
Like, people are like, this is the shit.
Yeah, why don't you guys do this all the time? And it's like, well, it's a lot of effort, and we don't do it so
We
that
spend 19 hours editing, and
there's a lot of editing.
how much editing, and we trying to hit the deadline at 7:30 on a Monday morning, and a little rough.
Can I say something though?
Right.
I really am impressed with your thumbnails that you use for certain episodes.
Right.
Because it ties down into one thing. As I'm spinning.
That's all Adam. Honestly. So I would say of the 100 and I would say 25 episodes we've had thumbnails, because at first it was just our logo for the podcast.
Yep.
I would say 100 of them have been solely him. Only about 25 of them he's actually flown by me or asked my opinion on. So yeah, that's all Adam. Yeah.
Oh.
That's his wheelhouse.
Well, trust me, she did not mean to.
I wasn't gonna give him praise.
I didn't mean
So
to
it's just
compliment you.
congratulations.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Well, you're welcome. That's part of the allure of the show.
I thought you had creative input. I was wrong about certain things.
The only creative input I have is sitting here talking like an asshole.
You totally have overshot the amount of effort that we put into all of this.
Yeah, is that right? I'd like to have a breakdown of how many hours of podcast we have. That's not very loud.
Some week advice
There you
/
go.
life advice.
Oh, is this?
This is the PNA podcast.
Yes, because what other advice would you want? You don't need advice from anyone else in your life except for us. We are truly like the people you need advice from.
What if they stop
So
giving advice?
yes, that should be my
Well, they
What do we
did.
do?
They did. They did stop.
But yeah, so we're actually really looking forward to this. We've been
So yeah, my mom likes to have me hang out in the basement with my friends, and
And she said that we need a creative outlet because she's tired of catching me going through her underwear drawer. So she said, start a podcast or something. Get
So
a
I-
hobby.
I got my friends, and we're trying to leverage this podcast to get some ladies. So if any ladies out there interested,
First we do the podcast, and then we get the khakis, and then we get the ladies.
yes, that in that order.
enjoy making these for you guys. So, I mean, look forward to the stuff we put out.
Hey, they put out.
And look forward to the stuff that comes out of us.
So we couldn't have a year in review episode without these guys. I mean,
Of course.
come on.
We still haven't learned their
subscribe.
names.
Yes, and if you don't, we will still find you and somehow
Well, that's
figure out.
That's terrifying.
That's sting like haunting right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I'm a little.
I'll be watching.
They don't have any
you.
R's or anything like little reserved or copyrighted shit on their.
They were both homeschooled, and this is their gap year.
One of them did send me a webcam that they asked me to plug in, so I did
Absolutely not.
on your side of the bed.
And then we got our webcam we sent, and people making fun of us.
They did send me a request that said, "Can you move that to where the dude is?" I
That's
didn't know exactly what that meant.
I want to
but
see his big
Watch
hairy
out for
ass.
us. We're going to dominate the podcast world.
That's a soundbite right there. Note
Yes,
that.
it is.
Get that drop. Get that drop.
Yeah,
Get that
no
drop.
shit. That's great.
I want that as a drop,
It needs to be
please.
on a T-shirt.
We're going
or a
to
sticker
dominate the
or
pod. Can you
something.
replay that again? Can you go back and replay that?
I'm sure I can.
We're going to dominate the.
That was great.
I'd never heard that from them before.
#1 podcast in the world by 2022. And
Oh!
so be with
Old.
us on this
Old.
journey
Wow.
by 2022. Dominate the podcast world. We will show you that we are going to be the #1 podcast in the world by 2022.
This is Waco
Okay, so
shit.
you got to know.
It's Waco.
Listeners are going to think that's actually us.
It's not. It is not. It is so far from us,
But it's so us.
but it is exactly what we would say.
We're going to dominate the podcast world. We'll be the #1 podcast in Malaysia in 2022.
We're gonna dominate the 3-digit number rankings of the podcast.
We're gonna be the #1 podcast in the tri-state area.
Oh my God! I can't believe I stumbled across that.
That is save that moment. We need that drop.
Is it me, or is there like every time we pull something up from this, there's a gem that comes out of it?
Every time.
I mean, I picked a random episode at a random point.
It's like mining for gold.
How many episodes do they have?
9.
They're dominating the podcast. What in 2022?
Maybe they started a new podcast.
My friend, new to the game.
All right, I guess that about wraps it up.
That
Game
does sound
recognized game.
Wait a minute. That does sound
will
like
be
sound a lot,
will be
sounds
here
a lot
for
like Joe
you
Rogan.
people. Watch out for us.
It sounds like Joe Rogan.
I'm joking. Yeah.
It sounds like Blow Rogan. Blow Rogaine.
Blow Rogaine.
My mom is really happy with the progress we've made. We've got 3 people that tune in occasionally for up to 30 seconds.
Just wait
at a
until
time.
if they do episode number 10 and be like, I don't know what happened, but our numbers exploded.
Our numbers are. We went from single digit numbers to now we're up to 54 people have listened to our podcast.
It's true. Girl, you know it's true. So what had happened was, their podcast was literally, every episode was single digits, maybe in the low teens. And we started fucking talking about them. And now some of their episodes are in the 50s even for like downloads and views.
Do you ever read the comments?
No.
No, I never have.
You should check the comments. Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Let me look at this
Maybe
one.
somebody say the PNA Podcast Express sent me here.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Or
that-
somebody just comment, how's my ass taste?
Yeah. Drop a drop on the comments.
I can't believe that this showed up in my recommended feeds. I don't even know who the fuck these people are.
I wish we could get more comments like that.
That's their only comment.
I don't know who the fuck these people
We're
are.
going to dominate the podcast world.
There it is. There it is.
We will show you that we are going to be the #1 podcast in the world by 2022.
Do they have a gear
And
list?
so
Because it
be with
sounds
us.
professional.
By 2022.
Because everybody hashtags everything and they have like an Amazon store.
Oh, is that what we're not doing right?
Right?
Hashtag.
Meatloaf!
She is
We have a call.
annoyed as shit.
We have a call.
We have a call.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Meatloaf.
meatloaf call. Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked.
I mean,
it
Lyndon-
worked well with Lyndon when he was high as fuck.
Yeah. Well, anything would have worked.
Well,
you could have thrown up.
with Lyndon, he'd be all fucking stoned, and we'd yell meatloaf. He'd be like, "Ooh, meatloaf sounds good." Oh shit, those guys need beer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But look at it. She's quicker.
Yes, and better looking.
Yeah, and more responsive and
Right.
shows up more.
Shows up. Yeah. Thank you for showing up for your job,
But she was straight up annoyed when you said that.
dude.
Not with us.
Great.
Phil straight.
Not with us.
No, because she's balls deep in helping people.
Phil straight up sucks.
We are. Whoa, what the hell? Oh, whoops, wrong thing.
I
Did you
didn't
just
touch
kill the
it.
whole podcast?
Matt straight
No.
up sucks.
There, that's louder.
That is
louder.
one nice thing with this board is it's really hard to fuck shit up.
Good.
So as
'Cause,
the night progresses and we get through the bottom of more pictures,
So as we talk about the year in review, we actually lost Rip to 5 episodes that we recorded. And the thing is I try not to repeat myself on episodes, and I know I do somewhat, but thank you. But as far as the major episodes or major stuff, I try not to repeat myself. And so those things that were lost, because I like it to be organic, and it's gone. We had, I would say 5. Is that about right? About 5 episodes were lost due to equipment malfunction, skipping, or whatever else.
Or the,
Yeah.
the board guy.
Yeah, the board guy.
honestly, for the number of episodes we've done, percentage-wise, we're doing pretty well. Doing pretty well, like 3% issue rate.
By the way, episode 2 drink.
Oh, yes.
Cheers. Here's to another year
Drink,
of the fucking
damn it.
PNA Podcast Express.
Really, we got to do another year of this shit. I'm tied into it now.
I never said that. I'm only contractually obligated to do 150 episodes. And then I've served my sentence. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
This is to our episodes that we lost.
Yes.
So we apologize to you, and we say sorry to you, Benchwarmer Shelley episodes.
Oh, God, those were so good, too.
We almost lost episode 50.
We almost lost episode 50. Thank God we pulled that out. Also, another episode I know was, of course, Laura and Melanie. We lost that episode. We lost, remember, we did a great episode with Laura and Melanie, and we lost the whole thing.
Yeah. That was sad, too.
And there were like one or two other ones.
Someday we'll have the technology to bring these back.
There is an episode there is only one episode we haven't aired that was recorded. And that was...
Oh, yeah. But that's counted in the 5.
Yes, it is. Should we air that sometime?
We should... Well, we can't really do an off-air air because we're not on air. Everything's just online. But yeah, we should.
Why not? Let's just throw it out there.
I mean, as an extra bonus Saturday episode, because holy shit, what a roller coaster that was.
That was a fucking wild one, dude.
So we'll clue Mary and our listeners in here. We have an episode with a frequent participant on the show that she's really hammered, like interrupted us every 2 seconds.
And we've learned how to deal with that, but this one there was no dealing with it.
No, it was a holy shit moment. Like, learn how to deal with that type of thing from that point on.
That's when the guests are only allowed to have no more than 2 drinks before they come on air with us.
And then they have to pace with us and not triple us.
Not be the pace car.
Yeah.
My grandma had a pace car. Those things were great.
A pacer.
Pacer, yeah.
Same thing. The AMC Pacer was a fucking pace car at one time. I got a burp.
I masked it with Dave Draymond.
I wonder what my kids are up to right now. Well, they haven't texted me and said the place is burning down, so we're okay.
Nope. They could give a shit less that you're there right now. They're on technology that they have.
You're the talking heads.
Well, Mary's pointing at a time here.
Shit. Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
This is a year in review, goddammit.
Yeah, let's review more of the year.
So, let's talk about last week.
I almost hit a deer taking Adam home.
Oh, good Lord.
Last week? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, you didn't take me home last week. Week before last.
2 weeks ago, almost smucked a deer.
Yeah. We've done that a few times. We did that this year with our journey.
Remember somebody backed into my car.
Yeah. How was your car?
Well, both sides are smashed up now because of the fucking deer, and now somebody backed into the other side. So now it won't get fixed for another 4 weeks because I called, and then I called the body shop, and they're like, well, we were going to get you in next week to get the other side repaired, but now we got to order parts for the other side, so it's probably going to be another 4 weeks because they want to fix it all at once, which makes sense. I can't fault them on that.
Yeah, well, we're going on 6 weeks since we hit our deer, and we were supposed to get into the dealership.
So I hit mine in early November. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just how it go. Just life in these contiguous 48.
Well, why is that still playing? What the hell's going on?
Oh, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you
World
again.
by 2022.
Magical. It's magical.
And so be with us on this journey.
On this journey.
On this journey. I mean, seriously, if we were that lame, would you? I would. If I sounded like that, I would not be sitting here going, "We will be the #1 podcast in the world in 2022."
2022.
Do you have a merch store? You need a merch store.
We need a merch store.
We do. I've actually started one.
We need a merch store.
I just need to complete it.
HornyGrapefruit.com.
Yep, HornyGrapefruit.com. Thanks to your son.
www.hornygrapefruit.com, or you can email the podcast at PNA at hornygrapefruit.com, or you can call the podcast at 810-294-1455.
0455.
I fucked it up, see?
Christ.
Anyway,
God.
all right, let me get that out again. 810-294-0455.
Hold on now, real quick. The PNA podcast is looking for a competent spokesperson to come in and say their web address competently. You can apply at hornygrapefruit.com.
You can
810.
You can call the podcast at 810-4, or you can email us at eatshit.com.
Oh, shit!
Oh,
Actually,
shit.
we do not own the rights to eatshit.com. We're not
Sorry.
that highbrow.
Oh, shit.
God damn it.
No, why you got to go blowing up our spot like that?
Oh, boy. It's a rough
Anything
year.
else with the year?
You
For
know,
me personally, what a fucking dumpster fire of a goddamn year.
yeah, absolutely.
Got let go from one job, got into another horrible one.
My legs broke.
Yeah, man,
In some fucking
our
cast.
bowling team is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
So
we didn't
basically-
even have a bowling team tonight.
The Lions sucked.
But at least all the negativity has influenced everything else in life, but the positivity has flowed toward the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's karma coming around to the podcast.
I guess. Or as you lame people know it, is the Catholic Church says what comes around goes around. Because they don't like the phrase karma because that has
Comes around, reaches around.
Yeah, that's right. He who comes first gives a reach around.
This is why we added applause this year.
That's right. He's had to clap so many times they call it applause.
Oh, shit. Oh, I'm really glad we did this tonight because I was pretty bored.
Yeah, and it's good to give everyone a review of the year.
And I am pretty excited about the 810-294-0455 number that people will be able to call, leave us a message, let us know what you got going on.
What works, what doesn't work.
Trust me, we know. I'm in technology. I know that email is kind of going by the wayside.
If you think that I'm your baby daddy, whatever.
Yeah. So, that was a pretty good sound effect.
Nice.
Can we get that as a drop?
Get that as a drop.
But we understand.
You want a customized drop, call and
That's right.
leave one.
If you want to give us what you think should be a drop, be like, I got a drop for you right here, bitches, and then recite whatever it is.
So, one thing that I do have to bring up is I have to go use the restroom. So, are you guys going to carry this for a minute, or are we going to wrap this up?
I'm okay with wrapping this up. I don't know how much more I have to say in this year.
I'm a podcast killer, so
This
probably
godforsaken
I don't know. You've
year.
been pretty decent.
No,
You've
great.
been pretty decent.
Amazing. Thank you.
Well, when I say decent, I mean better than the rest of the people on here.
But you're
Touche.
contractually obligated to say that.
No, if I disagree with you, I have to give you half my shit. I don't have anything, so that means you get half the podcast.
Suck it. Great.
Welcome to the fold.
Phil, nice doing a podcast with you.
Oh, yeah. Great doing podcasts with you, too. So, I guess we'll wrap this up for the year. Fuck, man. Fuck this year. But thank you, listeners. I think most listeners will agree. Fuck this year.
Amen.
It's time to move on to the next one. Not saying that a change in one calendar day is going to make things drastically different, but your mindset can, folks. Remember that.
I do have one thing to say about this year yet.
Go on.
Now for us, we're going to dominate the podcast world. We will show you that we are going to be the number one podcast in the world by 2022.
Amazing, yes.
And so be with us
Preach
on
on,
this
brother.
journey.
I think together we could do it with them. I don't know if we can get there on our own, but I think together we can do it with them.
I would love to have them on our podcast.
One thing having Mary on here before we go, it does add some legitimacy as somebody who actually has broadcasting experience and a degree in that sort of thing.
I was originally Mother Mary on WSGR 91.3 in
There you
And
go.
that's how I met Eddie, and that's how I met Adam, and we've just had mutual friends. And
So I appreciate that, and I do know she's got broadcasting chops, and they're awesome. But I thought you meant legitimacy was like people thought she was like Snuffleupagus and didn't exist.
Oh,
But
well, anybody
well,
who
that might be true to some extent.
anybody that knows me from when I was younger and I tell them I'm married, they're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Holy shit.
Where'd you buy her?
Yeah. Was that blow up doll that was on the lawn at the courthouse?
Oh,
I took that picture, by the way.
Which is amazing.
yeah. A little snapshot of our world here.
Little snapshot, letting you behind the curtains a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, our number 810-294-0455. Remember that. Use it. Call us. Leave us a message. We will get it.
Write it on the walls of bathroom stalls.
That needs to go on the glory hole sticker.
Yes. Write it on the walls of the bathroom stalls. This glory hole approved by the PNA Podcast Express.
I like it. I like it a lot. And we will be able to, if you want to be on the podcast and are not locally here where you can get on there, we can bring you on. We can bring you on through that number.
We'd love to.
We would. We would. It would be my utmost pleasure to do so.
Absolutely.
All right. So is that?
On that note, let's say Happy New Year, I guess.
Is that 2021?
That's 2021 in a wrap, bitch.
Wow. There we go. That's it.
We've given you the phone number. We've given you the email address. He's Adam Filkins. I'm Phil Nickel. Mary Filkins, thank you for joining us.
Dick Clark is dead.
Dick Clark is dead. And fuck you, Ryan Seacrest. Happy New Year, everybody. We love you all. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Make good choices.